Yes, when someone hears about MSAT Enterprise Limited, here we are requesting that you place orders of eggs and clean eggs, place order of broilers which are standard and have acquired the standard weight, place order of organic fertilizer that we process from our poultry here, place order regarding kienyeji feeds, and also in addition to that, don't go back, place order of dairy meal, and we'll be able to deliver at your point of destination. We brag ourselves for standard, quality, and in addition to that, we achieve the quality. When receiving these chicks, to ensure that the feeds are available, those are the starter crumbs which we give them at least 2 weeks before they can be able to change to chick mash. The first feedings just to ensure that we provide enough energy for them and also to stabilize in terms of growth. Then we can be able to change now to chick mash, which we do supply them for about 8 weeks. And then we shift now to growers mash. That is between week 8 and at least week 16 to 17, when you are able to notice the first laying of the birds. We can also be able to see this structure. You see, it is highly ventilated. That's just to allow free circulation of air and ensure that these birds do not have that awful smell. So as you can see, there are coils on the floor. We don't have here brooder jikos. What we do use to warm this structure, we normally use our biogas, which is converted from the waste that we collect from the poultry. That biogas system is able to supply enough gas which can be able to heat water. That water flows through these pipes and it keeps the room warm, and so allows those chicks, while they are resting or just lying on the floor, they can be able to feel that warmth due to the flow of water which is warm. So that's how we normally do our brooding here. And as you can also be able to see these structures up here, when we receive chicks, we do allow those chicks to be able to grow up to a certain age. These small houses here, you see, they are just there to maintain temperature when chicks are still very young. So what we do, we lower them within the first and the second week, or even up to the third week. Once the chicks have grown and have acquired enough feathers at a stage that they can be able to maintain their temperatures and be able to support themselves very well, then we can be able to raise them high, so that now we give enough space, free circulation of air, and also to allow, if there's some smell which is not conducive for them, to flow outside. See, in this brooder house we are having a number of chicks. This is about 2,100 chicks. This is what currently we are able to order from the Ken chick, and that's the capacity, which means that there are a number of birds that we are going to release as X layers. So these ones are supposed to replace those ones which are in the cages. So what we normally do here, I want to inform you that here we rear these birds for a period of 2 years when they are in laying stage. Within that period, you'll notice that their curve of laying starts to drop. And so we should be able to prepare to find out how you're going to replace the stock, and also to avoid getting out of the market. So what we do, we receive chicks and we plan so that at this time we are about to release the other birds from the cages. We are able to receive another stock so that we can be able to replace them and be able to maintain our market sales. So the total number of birds currently in this farm, other than these chicks, about 5,000 birds. And so we are expecting that in about 1.5 months we'll be releasing a number of birds from the cages, and this is the stock that is going to replace them. Then we will be able to prepare, because we have made another order, that in about like 1 month's time we should be able to replace another stock, so that we can be able to continue with the process of brooding. Here brooding is continuous. Brooding is continuous, and so that we can be able to ensure that also you have eggs in a continuous process. We have got 3 challenges, and of course the obvious challenge, diseases, you cannot be able to rule it out, because as we receive these birds, if you are not able to maintain the standards that are required, or you keep this house under the required conditions, then expect that you are going to face these diseases. Of course, birds are very delicate when they are in bad situations that they may encounter or may result into something that derails their hygiene. So disease is key, and here we do control these diseases despite that they are there. Coccidiosis, we do control them. Diseases related to vaccination like Newcastle, fall typhoid and fall pox, those are some of the diseases that any farmer who is in this enterprise might face. And so those are key, but as here we have not encountered that bit in our situation, but we have minor cases. Of course, in a day or 2 days we may not fail to lose a bird, but those are minor cases, but we are trying to handle them. Another case that we do face, or a challenge that we are currently facing also, feeding is and feeds. Currently the prices of feeds have hiked, and I like to put this one that with the prevailing conditions, with the high prices, feeding of poultry, and any person who is willing to come to this enterprise, then he should be able to be ready to encounter this kind of challenge. Feeds have gone high, and even a number of farmers, you may see they are contemplating to start processing their own feeds, so that they can be able to cut down the cost of managing the poultry farms. The third challenge that we are facing, and this one is market. Given that we are in agricultural activities and farming of birds, with the eggs, recently we've been facing challenges of marketing eggs, and we find that given that more eggs have been coming in from our neighboring countries at a very low prices, and compare the cost of production that we are facing in our country here, then you will find that most of farmers have been facing this one as a big challenge. So you find that farmers have been forced to sell their products at a very low price compared to the cost of production that they are incurring in their farm. So you find that at that particular place, that particular case, you find that farmers cannot be able to do what? Farmers cannot be able to meet the cost of the farm. So making them, at least some of them, to give out such like projects. So marketing has been a challenge. This is one of the houses that we keep our layers, and as you can see, we have got a number of layers. In this structure, we have got about 768 layers, and so we do receive eggs daily from these houses, and this house or this layer, they are supposed to lay to about 2 years in their laying period. Within that particular period, we are able to assess their feeding, we assess their health to maintain the production curve. In about 18 months, the curve may start to drop, and when they start to drop, you find that here now we end up with what we refer to as X layers. These X layers, we do sell them, and for those interested, like these birds, as you can be able to see, they are getting old. Very soon we'll be selling them at 400 shillings per bird from this farm. We have got this, and you can be able to book on time and be able to sell you the number you want. Welcome to the fertilizer section. This is where we do our organic fertilizer processing. This side, as you can see, there are a number of tanks, and there are 3 in number. We do mix our waste from the poultry, and then we allow it to settle here as a holding tank from this first tank. Once it's full, now we release in the next 2 tanks that you can be able to see in front of me. So these 2 tanks, as you see here, they are just here for fermentation process to allow this fertilizer to acquire certain standard conditions that are required, and which can be able to allow farmer to get what they want. So we have got fermentation tank 1 and then fermentation tank 2. So once it has been here for about 12 to 14 days, this fertilizer is ready for processing activities, or for the processing that's required. It is released in this truck that you see as a greenhouse. Here there's another tank. So in this tank, we have got a feeding pump, and in this feeding pump also we have got the pipes which connect to the main processing machine. So here we are. There's a number of steps that takes place, or we go through as a process of coming up with this product. And as you can see, we have got our watering machine. This watering machine receives the liquid part from the tank outside the greenhouse, and so here it is separating the solid from the liquid, and so that solid is the one that is carried through the conveyor to the dryers. The liquid part goes back to where you have got what we refer to as a foliar tank in that greenhouse. So from here, this fertilizer is taken to the dryers to allow drying process to take place. So this is the conveyor which takes this solid part, or this solid fertilizer, to the dryer basins, if I can refer them as basins. From the conveyor, as I've said, this fertilizer is now brought to the dryer, and as I've said, within this dryer we normally use 2 sources of heat. We use solar, and in addition to that, if there's no enough solar, we use power. That power normally pumps in or blows in warm air or hot air, which allows this fertilizer to be able to acquire the standard moisture that is good in terms of packaging. So from there, we take this dry fertilizer. There are those farmers who normally require fertilizer which is maybe in a crushed form, and there are those ones which who normally require this fertilizer when maybe it is from the dryer direct for their farms. So from the dryer, Once it has dried up to a certain percentage of moisture that is required, it is taken to the conveyor so that it can be able to get crushed. We do crush so that we acquire a homogeneous form. Then from crushing is where now we do our packaging. So this is our conveyor screw where we do crushing of the organic fertilizer once it is dry from the dryer basins. So here we pour it inside this holder, then we allow it to flow up to the crusher. Its purpose just to ensure that we acquire a homogeneous kind of product from the dryers. So here is where we crush our fertilizer before we pack it. So we allow it to dry and to allow so free circulation of air before packaging and maybe do a branding of our products. So this is our product and it's ready for packaging. So farmers, we encourage you to use organic fertilizer. We do packages of 20 kgs, but still you can get in smaller quantities. We do it at 800 shillings per bag of 20 kgs. You are welcome to a farming of organic. Organic fertilizer here, we do it for planting of crops, short-term crops, maize, vegetables, and currently even farmers who are around with tea plantations, they are using it, and coffee. So the output is good and it is